Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Myths episode, this one focusing on Fiora. Prepare to be shocked at some of the interactions. But if you end up enjoying this one, please hit the like button, helps me quite a lot, but let's move into the first myth. What is the interaction with Fiora's W and Bard's, Azir's, Malzahar's, and Zed's ultimate? Let's start things off with the guy who has one of the best walking animations in League of Legends, Bard, and as you see there, Fiora's W completely counters Bard's ultimate, which does seem a little strong. Following that, we have Shurima's own Emperor, Azir, and as he prepares his ultimate, the Fiora is able to flat out counter the damage and even the knockback from his ultimate, so effectively completely countering it and negating it. But what about something like a Zed's ultimate with his death mark? Well, as he finally applies it to the Fiora, as it's about to pop, I activate my W and the full damage is negated from the death mark. But wait, there's more, because Zed's ultimate as usual is countered by so many things that not only can Fiora counter the damage, but if she times her W just right, she can completely negate the possibility of Zed even applying deathmark to her from the start. I'm sure us Zed mains are crying everywhere. And last but not least, we have the interaction with Malzahar's ultimate, which is actually a little bit interesting. So here in the first example, you're gonna see me time my W as Malzahar ults me. You can see he's doing the animation as if he's actually ulting me, though the tether is not on me, nor am I taking any damage, and his ultimate is actually on cooldown. But we were wondering if he can still move while he's supposedly channeling his ultimate within the animation. So after testing it one more time, you can see that after he uses the ultimate, it goes on cooldown, he can still walk around without waiting for the full duration. So at least he has that going for him. Moving on to the second myth, what happens if Fiora's ulti target is devoured by Tahm Kench? So in this example, as I use my ultimate on the Ezreal, Tahm Kench is gonna devour him. And as it happens, you can see that the ultimate on Ezreal is still visible even though he's within Tahm Kench. Though unfortunately, you are unable to proc the ultimate marks on Ezreal in this case while he is within Tahm Kench. Regardless, an interesting interaction nonetheless. Moving on to the next myth, what summoner spells can Fiora's W parry, if any at all? So I have to say this is going to be probably one of the more crazier interactions. Looking closely as we time it together, Fiora parries my Ignite, and you see now my Ignite is on cooldown because I used it on Fiora, even though it didn't actually apply to her because she parried it with her W. Quite honestly, mind-blowing that she can do that, but moving on to the next summoner spell being Exhaust, if you haven't guessed yet, she can definitely parry that as well. And if you hit the champion with the W, it'll slow for both of the summoner spells, not stun. Pretty OP if you ask me. The next myth is asking, can Fiora's W block Tahm Kench's devour ability? So for this one, as Tahm Kench applies his passive to Fiora and tries to devour it with perfect timing, Fiora is most definitely able to parry his devour. However, his devour does not go on cooldown as you saw him use it then right after. But in case you're wondering, if she does parry it and hit someone with the W ability, it will stun them as a hard CC type ability has been blocked. The following myth is asking, can Fiora ult and proc heal on a champion clone or Scion's passive? So the first thing we test is what happens if Fiora ults a Scion and then kills him and he goes into his passive. Does she have to kill the passive for the heal to go off? Well, the answer is no. And the heal will instantly go off without having to kill the passive as well. Well, that's pretty cool, but can Fiora use her ultimate on Scion's passive? Well, as he finally emerges from his passive state, the answer unfortunately is no, she cannot use her ultimate on his passive form. Next, we have champions with clone type abilities, so for instance, LeBlanc's passive. And as it activates here, I want to try using my ultimate on her passive, but you see it goes on for just a split second, then for some reason goes off instantly. And then testing it with Wukong's clone, of course coming from his W ability, the exact same thing happens, it goes on for just a split second with the ultimate, and then it instantly goes right back off. And last but definitely not least, we have Shaco and his ultimate clone. As he finally uses it, I use my ultimate on his clone right here at the top. Once again, it goes on for a second and then it goes off. This probably works in such a way just to prevent certain counterplay, but regardless, it's still pretty cool. The next myth is asking, can Fiora parry another Fiora's W, and if so, what is interaction? So for this one, we'll be testing two types of interactions, the first one being just simply two Fioras using a W at each other, with the second Fiora absorbing the first Fiora's W. And as you saw, the Fiora on the right absorb the other Fiora's W, didn't take any damage, and then slowed the Fiora on the left. However, if the Fiora on the left first absorbed the hard CC ability like a Morgana Q, and then the Fiora on the right absorbed the Fiora on the left's W, then the Fiora on the right not only will she not take damage, but she'll stun the Fiora on the left. I hope that wasn't too confusing. And moving on to the next myth, can Fiora's W also block true damage? So there's many champions in League of Legends that unfortunately have true damage within their kit, but one of the champions that came to my mind was Olaf and his Reckless Swing. And I was really hoping that this ability will go through Fiora's parry since it is true damage, but unfortunately Fiora can still absorb this as well and not take the true damage. And the final myth for this episode, can you Q assess Fiora's ultimate or her passive marks? So first, testing out the more simple version, can you Q assess her passive? The answer is yes. But what about her ultimate, which is pretty much just 4 of her passives combined? Well, as I use it on the Scion here, he pops his Q assess and boom, suddenly my ultimate is gone. So the answer is yes, you can Q assess Fiora's ultimate. Finally, something that doesn't go her way. But something that goes our way is Crunchyroll finally partnering with yours truly. And I'm finally able to spread some of that anime love with you guys as well. If you go to crunchyroll.com/redmercy or click on the link I'll have in the description below, you can get 30 days free of Crunchyroll Premium. And you can watch your favorite anime in the best quality. This also really helps support me as well. And definitely tell me down below what anime you're currently watching. But thank you all so much for checking out this episode. If you enjoyed it, definitely hit the like button, share it with your friends, and check out the other videos as well, and subscribe if you haven't. Peace.